I'm not sure I can tell this story without cracking myself up. Kinnear, every time I fuck with him, he has to run his mouth and brag about what he's doing. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna use this to my advantage. So, and I had to go batshit, y'all, because every time I went out to fly a sign, that little bitch in the little silver car that started that shit about nobody wanted to fuck you on that island, she was coming out there and hurling profanities. But as soon as I got her license plate, she wasn't coming no more. Once I got her confession and got her confession and her boyfriend's confession the same way I just got Kinnear's confession. And a whole lot of people heard all that shit. But I kept saying, you work for Dershowitz, you work for Epstein. And they were basically bragging about it, like saying, yeah, we do. What are you going to do about it, bitch? Okay, that's a confession. If you're not denying it, people who don't work for Epstein and Alan Dershowitz would recoil and go, huh? What? Oh, who are you talking to? I don't work for these motherfuckers. Well, I took it to the next level with Kinnear tonight. He come up behind me on Church Street. I was hoping the motherfucker would show up. Sure enough, I started needling him. He started running his mouth. I said, you're a fucking pedo when you're about to be a dead fucking pedo. Looking forward to reading about how you were found dead floating in the river or OD'd. So he goes up, after 7 o'clock, we have to catch the buses on, what is that, Pearl Street? Where the sporting goods store is. I'm not going to endorse it. I'm not going to say the name. Just the big, huge sporting goods store where the front door is there on Church Street. That's a big, long building. So he was standing out there underneath that awning that's not over their front door, but it's just basically a structure there that's actually on Pearl Street. It's not actually on Church Street. And his bus, the Shelburne, was right there, and it said 6 Shelburne. Well, I go up Church Street, come around and come down and get cans out of the... And I needed to upload that video at Green Mountain Transit because they've got the fastest Wi-Fi for uploading anything, and then I come down around the other end. Well, there's 5 or 6 buses there. So that Church Street all the way down to LL Bean, that's a good 50 yards, 25 yards. I mean, that's a length of 5 or 6 buses. Well, I'm going up looking at each one. I ain't even up to the 3rd bus yet. He starts coming down going, Shelburne, Shelburne. Like he couldn't see the fucking sign on the first bus where he was standing there for a good 10, 15 minutes. Because it took me that long after I made that video of him where he was standing under that awning. That bus that ended up parking right there was the Shelburne. So I yelled and pointed. I said, that's a pedophile who works for and I'm yelling loud. And you got the buses on one side and the building on the other. Said, pedophile. I can't yell in here because I'm in McDonald's. But I go, pedophile. I'm basically yelling, pedophile who works for Epstein and Alan Dershowitz, and he started running. He makes these just stupid noises, and he acknowledged everything I said. Not once did he go, because he's got to show me. He's got to same thing he's always done. He's basically, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm the police, and what are you going to do about it? And then I yelled, like you couldn't see Shelburne's on the sign after you've been up there all that time. And they saw him standing up there. They were there for a while. Then he finally realized what the fuck he just did. He basically confessed to being a pedo who works for Alan Dershowitz and Jeffrey Epstein. I don't give a fuck what the mainstream media New York Times says, and anybody who tries to push that shit off as even remotely credible, like Harry Littman, who was appointed by Bill Clinton. What else do you need to hear? I guess he was appointed as a U.S. District Attorney, and I don't remember which office he was appointed to, but he said he was appointed by Bill Clinton. And you don't know that Donald Trump raised Clinton from the Lewinsky impeachment ashes? And you're talking all this shit about Trump like he's not a fucking Democrat? I already didn't trust the motherfucker in the first place. How can you be a U.S. District Attorney and not know about the Iran-Contras crap, especially when Caspar Weinberger was indicted behind the shit, along with God knows how many others? Oh, and Bill Clinton's brother, Roger Clinton, was indicted, who Bill Clinton conveniently pardoned. Fuck out of here. Point is, the response that I've gotten out of Kinnear and Becky Burrell and Autumn Caton and the whole group of gang stalkers that work for Alan Dershowitz and work with Ari Moskowitz and his lawyer, whatever the hell his name was, I'll have to look it up and I'll tag his ass in the post too. They're doing the equivalent, they're doing the same thing Todd Blanche did in response to Katie Faye's lawsuit. A whole bunch of bluster, but no denials. Like, yeah, everything you're saying is true, but this, and this. They justify it. Or just outright admit it, but they don't, you know what I'm saying? So, apparently, Kinnear is so fucking ramped up as a fucking rapist pedo that he doesn't realize just because we're not at Green Mountain Transit Station anymore, all of those buses have cameras, security video on the outside of the bus. There's one on the corner right by the door where you board. And they have them so if they're in an accident, it shows who's responsible. Or if there's an accident right in front of them, the police can pull that footage and see what happened. So there's security video on all four corners of those buses. Some of it's inside the bus, some of them have two. The electric bus that brought me out here had one up above the dash in front of the driver. It had one back by the door. I've got one pointed right at me right there and another one over there. So with other gang stalker Katrina in here, the one her apartment, and confessed multiple times too. Especially when I said, well, I can't go to your apartment because my security detail has to have eyes on me at all times. Oh, so you don't feel safe. I didn't tell you that. You read that on my post, or somebody else read it and told you that I already suspected you. Anyway, she was in here last night right before they fucking closed, trying to sell me drugs. She pissed off the manager. He got disgusted with her just because I didn't post it. I did that on purpose. I had two stalking me, or at least, no, who was it? One or two stalking me out on Shelburne today and on the bus in. I didn't post it. Because I had to let them think that they had really divided and conquered. Sure enough, I got Bill Kinnear, and the dumbass was stupid enough to want to be over there with 30 or 40 people waiting for their buses and confessed to being a pedophile who worked for Jeffrey Epstein and Alan Dershowitz. On multiple security video,